Welcome into the Lounge, presented by DraftKings. I'm Ryan Mink here with Garrett Downing, and we are thrilled to sit down with wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. So, DeAndre, I mean, the vibes around the building this week are impeccable. And to me, like, it almost feels like, you know, like you made a bad decision in life. You end up in the hospital. You're in a coma. You wake up from the coma and you're like, oh my God, I have new life. I'm never going to do that bad stuff again. I'm clean now. Right? Like, can you describe what the feeling is like in this building?
Man, that's definitely a good way to describe it for sure. You know, we think that we deserve to be in this position as a football team, the work we put in, how we practice, all season training. To be in this position, it took some teams to beat some teams. And that's the way it goes sometimes. You don't want to depend on certain things like that, but this is football. And all you want is a chance to play meaningful football in December, especially with a team like we have. And we put ourselves in that position. So we think we deserve it, and we know what we're capable of once we get into, you know, January football. So, you know, right now is handling it this week, and that's what we're going to focus on.
Right.
What was the first thought you had when you knew that you were going to have a chance for a win and get in game against the Steelers?
First thought I had was get my body ready to prepare for January football. Playoff football is different. Going, you know, being in year 13, you know, for myself, I just want to be able to be reliable and be out there for my teammates. So for myself, it was, what can I do to give my team the best chance to win, you know, when my number's called. And so for myself, it was, you know, all right, I need to go do something.
Let's go get in the training room. Let's go get the weight room right now, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, that was my mindset.
So for you, like, something that stood out to me really since the day that you signed here and throughout the season is that, like, at this point of your career, kind of to what you're talking about, you're not like a volume guy like you were earlier in the season that's just going to get a ton of targets. But every time the ball comes your way, to me, it seems like it's a huge situation. It's third down. Yeah. It's a pass to the red zone. Like, they're all big situations. And now as you go into this game, it feels like to me like this is the game that you were brought here for. You were brought here for this game and for hopefully the playoffs beyond that. Is that the way that you look at it too?
Of course. You know, for me, I want to be out there. I'm a competitor. That's why I play this game. So I'll never look at it as, you know, all right, I'm here just for this situation, that situation. But, you know, like you said, I just wanted to be able to be reliable when the ball came my way. And, you know, I thank the coaches and thank Lamar and Snoop for coming to me in those situations that they had. So for me, obviously, this is a big week. And, you know, being on a team last year, and knowing what it takes and knowing how to prepare to be in that game, you know, for me, you know, it's something that I can pass to, you know, Zay and Bate. You know, like these are the things, you know, this defense is doing, but this is also, you know, how to prepare your body for this long stretch. You know, it's different.
Mm-hmm. You're one of the top contested catch receivers of all time. Explain to listeners and viewers how you got so good at that.
Man, you know, I would definitely say practice and muscle memory, going out and doing it over and over, and just having a mindset when the ball's in the air, trusting your hands and not your body. But sometimes it is your body. So just really having hand-eye coordination and, you know, doing it over and over. I played defensive back growing up and quarterback, so really didn't get a chance to really hone in on a receiver position until I would say my junior year of college.
College?
Yeah, my freshman year, sophomore year, I was still new to playing receiver. My junior year of college, I felt like, all right, I kind of was mastering the receiver position. And also I played basketball, so high pointing is something that I always was good at in basketball. But I would say just really, you know, practice. And I wasn't a receiver my whole life. I was a DB, so my mindset is always just get to the ball first.
Yeah. Can you kind of explain that mindset? You know, it seems like certainly you seem like a guy. Ball's in the air. That ball's mine. Like, I don't care what it takes. That ball is mine. Yeah. How do you develop that mindset?
Trusting your hands, trusting your ability to go out and make those catches. You know, some guys really, don't trust their hands. So, their mindset is, let me body catch it, or, it has to be the perfect ball. But, for me, it's just trusting my skill set and trusting my hands.
I'm confused. I want to go back. You were a DB. Like, you have the best hands I think that I've ever seen. And like the reputation on DBs is like, you play DB because you can't catch. Like, you're physical, but you can't catch.
Yeah.
Well, he was playing DB and found out he could catch.
Yeah, like why were you a DB first, and then how did that transition happen?
Well, it was the opposite for me. I'm not sure if I still hold the state record in South Carolina. I played DB for 3 years, my sophomore through my senior year. And my first year, I had 15 interceptions. My second year, I had 9. I think I had 8 or 7 my senior year.
Wow.
Yeah. So
everyone was like, this guy can catch. Clearly.
Yeah. So catching was something that wasn't, never a question for me playing DB. It was, going in there and hitting a 200-pound, 220-pound fullback, sometimes, but nah. But it was the opposite for me. And so Clemson knew that I could catch, and they had trouble at receiver. So they were like, let's put him out there and see what he can do. And I think I would say my first statement catch was against Georgia Tech my freshman year, and it was a one-handed sideline catch. I think the first game I played, or the second
receiver
game.
Things working out.
Yeah. And I barely could get off the press. I barely knew how to run a route, but they were like, all right, we got something to work with here.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I want to, this season for you, it's been a little bit up and down. Obviously, the team started, they struggled 1-5 to start the season, and fight your way all the way back to the position that we just talked about. How have you handled this year, the ups and downs and kind of the emotions of it all?
I've enjoyed it. I've been playing football for a long time, so you can't read into everything that you hear in the media. When you have a team like we have to be in this position, you enjoy it and you embrace it. I knew when we were 1-5 that we were a better team than what our stats said. We just had to put it together, and we did that. We put a few games together, and that's when everyone in the outside world knew that, all right, this team is who we thought they were. And we always knew we were, a capable team of playing January football. We just had to put it together. And injuries, certain things that you can't control, goes with the game. And, we're here now where we are with the record. But, I've enjoyed it. I've embraced it. Last year I was obviously on a team that lost 2 games, and one of those was the Super Bowl. The year before, I think I might have won a couple games in Tennessee. So, I've never really worried about the record. It's just, how guys are embracing the journey and how are the leaders leading, because, it's more to learn than, just what you see on the field about records and things like this. You learn a lot about yourself.
I'm sure a big part of the reason why you signed in Baltimore was, hey, this is a really good team that's most likely going to be back in the playoffs and make a run at it. And like, you were kind of seen as that guy who maybe could be that missing piece to get us over the hump, right? Make those clutch plays. Now that you're on the precipice of this AFC North title game with the playoffs right there within your grasp, like, how hungry are you for that chance to get back in the dance again?
Oh, very hungry. And if you know me, I'm a competitor at everything. I love competing, and I definitely, as a free agent, had the mindset thinking coming into the season this year, that this team is, a couple players away. And I felt that, obviously, having 2 receivers that have been here, I knew what my role would be. And I've embraced that. First couple games, obviously, you guys seen,
It started out okay.
Yeah. Lamar not connecting the way we did.
Yeah.
And I knew that was something that we could continue to do throughout the season. But obviously, you got 2 receivers and you got 2 tight ends that deserve the ball and that are good. So I never, really allow myself to get upset. I'm year 13, man. I know, I know my role. I know who I am, and I know what I can do. When the ball come my way, like you guys said, I come down with it more than likely. So, coming into the season, of course, Super Bowl team was on my mind, and I think everybody else's. Did I think I was the key piece? I'm not gonna say I thought I was a key piece, but I knew I could help.
Yeah.
Take some pressure off some guys.
Yeah.
You've shown this year you still got plenty of gas left in the tank. Do you know how much longer you want to keep playing this game?
Man, I love this game. I know I can keep playing this game. I know I can go out and beat, what teams call their number one DBs, as you guys seen the first game of the year. The first catch, first touchdown that I had against, who is one of the highest paid DBs in the game. So for myself, I know what I can do, and I know I still got some years left. But, who knows, man? Who knows? I definitely want to play. I know I want to play one more year for sure. Mm-hmm. And I'll be a free agent next year. So, man, I enjoy the game, and I embrace everything that comes with it.
I don't want to put the cart too far in front of the horse, but are you hoping that one more year's here?
I love this organization. I love everything that these guys stand for here, from ownership all the way down to the equipment staff. Man, everybody in this facility and this organization has embraced me, and I've enjoyed my time here. My family likes it here. So who knows, man?
Yeah.
Now, I know Lamar and Derrick Henry were two other big reasons why you wanted to come here. Mm-hmm. What have you learned about each of those guys kind of being in the same locker room and seeing their work up close?
Man, that they're competitors. They work. They put in a lot of work. Obviously, the outside world doesn't see it. And Lamar is a guy who, man, he does a lot of stuff to be ready for Sunday. The way he prepares, his mindset, his instinct, he has that killer mentality, and Derrick as well, as you guys see, the way he prepares his body, the way he goes about his daily routine. Mm-hmm. And I was with him in Tennessee, so I got to see it there. But being around Lamar, I didn't know that this guy is as competitive as he is. Some guys have a natural ability like he does, but he also has, the smarts and the ins and outs of knowing football.
Yeah. How do you see that competitiveness in him? Like, how does that express itself?
Man, everything he does, from, man, if it's something in the locker room, a game that we're playing, he wants to win, or if it's, just, man, everything, from day one. I remember playing basketball, and he was in there, playing basketball with someone, and, he didn't want to lose, But, yeah, you see it in just the camaraderie that he has with everyone in the locker room. Mm-hmm. He makes it a point to make everyone in the locker room feel at home. New guys, older guys like myself, he embraces everyone, and he'll go, and talk to everyone, a rookie, it doesn't matter. So I think that means a lot, to certain people who is new to this organization, mm-hmm. who knows that, Lamar Jackson is, a key guy in this organization, that he comes and talks to everyone. So, him and Derrick, they do a good job of leading this team. And
DeAndre, last thing, because I know we got to wrap here, but I know fashion is a huge thing for you, right? So that is part of you're at the Met Gala, you're at Paris Fashion Week, like you've been at these things. How did all this interest come about, and how would you describe your fashion sense? Man, it came about just as a kid, honestly. It probably started when my mom used to dress my brother and I the same, and I used to want to dress different because I got tired of dressing like my brother on Sundays at church. And so I was like, whenever I get a chance, I'm definitely doing something unique. But my mom, I would say it started with her, just making sure, my brother and I and my other siblings, we were well dressed on Sundays, even going to school. She would make sure that we had, the clothes that we wanted. She worked hard for that. So that mentality just kind of stuck with me. And being in South Carolina, being a Southern boy, I would say just, having that church background, man.
Yeah. That's great. I like how your fashion also, you were like, we can do fashion on a budget. That speaks to me as a cheap guy.
Exactly.
Like you can look good without spending a ton of money.
Exactly, man. A lot of people don't understand that, man. It's not about, how much money or jewelry that you spend on something, but it's how you put it together. Yeah. And, quarter zip as or sweatshirts like you guys got on, man. That's you, man. Yeah. That's your style, man. That's what make you.
Who's got the better fit here?
Man, it's a tie.
It's a tie.
Because I like the sweatshirt, but I like the Nikes that you got on. But I like the sweatshirt.
I appreciate it.
Awesome. D-Hop, thank you so much, man. This has been a pleasure.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate you guys.
We're coming to you from the SeatGeek studio. We want to mention our partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. They are an official sports betting partner of the Baltimore Ravens. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Well, big thanks to DeAndre Hopkins, and clearly he liked my fit better than yours. That's the big takeaway.
Nah.
He liked the boots. He gave you credit for the boots, but overall, he gave me the nod. But I said it to him, and I really feel this way. I just think that he is somebody from the day he signed here. I never felt like, he's going to be a 1,000-yard receiver here, but I felt like if the Ravens go far and they make it to the playoffs and they go on a run, we're going to be looking at some huge catches from DeAndre Hopkins and big moments down the stretch.
We're going to be looking at some big catches in Pittsburgh from DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, I even go back, in general, but I think like the day he signed, I was like, if this team goes on a run, DeAndre Hopkins is going to have a big piece of that in critical moments.
Yeah.
And the most critical of moments is this Sunday in Pittsburgh.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying like D-Hop's going to make a couple catch or two or something like that when the Ravens really need him in Pittsburgh this Sunday night. That's what I'm predicting. And so, yeah, I mean, this is the moment. And of course, there's a lot of moments like that over the course of a season, and he's stepped up in some of those already, making third down catches and whatnot. And I think that's going to continue. And if the Ravens win in Pittsburgh, then certainly in the playoffs, he's going to be a guy in some of those critical situations that they turn to.
Yeah, and like
I mean, he had a season high in receptions and targets in New England, right? The last time Lamar Jackson was on the field, D-Hop was getting a lot of looks. So like the Ravens have been pretty clear over the course of the season, like, yeah, we want to get D-Hop more involved in this offense. And I think that they were kind of ramping up into that in that New England game, and it wouldn't surprise me if Lamar returns to play the Steelers if that continues.
Yeah, well, a big piece of this, it kind of goes back to the age-old dilemma that we've talked about with this offense, is that you got a lot of different mouths to feed in this one football. And right now, the biggest bell cow of this offense is Derrick Henry. And he's coming off a monster game in Green Bay. So you say you want to get that ground game rolling, you want to continue with that. If you're not putting the ball in the air that much, that limits opportunities for everybody.
Yep.
But still, like, Diop may have one catch on Sunday. But I think that one catch could be a 3rd and 8 conversion in the fourth quarter that ends up putting the Ravens in position to go win the game. Like that's the impact plays. I'm not sure there's a guy I feel better about being targeted in those types of situations. He's ready for that challenge. And as we talked about with him, like, he's beaten top corners and he's come up with big plays. And even if he's not open, he's open. And so I think that all those things lend themselves to him having some huge moments here down the stretch. And I'm excited to see what he can do on Sunday and ideally beyond.
Yeah, I think it's been a good signing for the Ravens. And like he said, when he signed here and everything, like, he knew what his role was going to be in this wide receiver room with Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman and all the other targets. And I think maybe some people on the outside, because it's D-Hop, right? It's Nuke. Like, this guy is one of the best receivers of his generation. He very well could end up in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think he should. Yeah. Exactly. So, like, when you add a guy like that, I think there's all these outside expectations of like, oh man, he's going to get all these targets and, all this stuff. Kind of like when Odell Beckham came here, and like, but it is what it is. Like, he's nearing the end of his career, whenever that is. It's not going to be after, this season.
Yeah.
But like, you have to take all of that with a grain of salt. Like, all those factors combined, I think it's been a successful campaign so far for DeAndre Hopkins. Could it have been more? Sure. But like, anytime if you say, well, D-Hop should have been getting the ball more, well, that takes... Do you want to take the ball away from Zay Flowers? Because he's been pretty great this year. Like,
down the line.
Exactly. Who are you taking it away from? Right. So, like, I think it's been a pretty good fit.
I agree with that. I also think that when you look at it on the big picture level, just like in terms of the entire team, of you got the second lease on life and you have another shot, I think that applies to so many different levels of this team. Like, it applies on the grand level, but then it also applies to guys like Hopkins, where it's like, okay, hasn't had as many opportunities as you probably would like. You'd like to get him more involved here down the stretch. Okay, here's the opportunity. Yep. Now you get a chance to go do it. And John Harbaugh made that point clear about a month ago, where he said, like, we need to get him more involved. Like, he's a big time player and we need to get him the ball more. And I think that this Sunday is going to be a chance to do that. And I'm excited to see what he does. I think he's fit in well. I think he's brought some leadership. He's brought a mentality and an edge. I've liked getting to know him. I've liked the energy that he's brought to this team, the work ethic, all those things. So I think he's been a really nice addition.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to see what he does in Pittsburgh in a AFC North title game. Thank you for listening. As always, you can reach us at the lounge at ravens.nfl.net. Big thanks to D-Hop for joining us, and we'll be back with you later this week to get you ready for that game against the Steelers.